Today, Elon Musk is going mask off. He has shared an article claiming Zuckerberg stole the election for Biden, claims the media is racist against white people, denied the Allen shooter was a neo-Nazi and claimed it was a psyop. This is all fascist propaganda. Yeah, I saw this. The massive public manipulation thing. Term frequency in popular U.S. newspapers. Racist, racist, and racism. Okay. Oh, man, they're talking about racism a lot. Interesting article. Perhaps community notes can add further context and corrections from the Federalist. This sounds like a psyop. An employee-funded media told us Jewish lady and a Korean guy. What? Dude, the redheaded libertarian... Tucker Carlson wants to fucking absolutely eviscerate the redheaded libertarians' back walls. Oh my god, dude. I've never seen a more horny reply guy, okay? Listen, motherfucker. I got a lot of female friends on Twitter, okay? I know when horny, fucking sadistic, psychopathic, stalker reply guys are like. I know how they behave. You are doing it right now. Go jerk off, you fucking weirdo. What the fuck are you doing? He's like, every time the redheaded libertarian is like, oh my god, it seems like the government is trying to make us think that Nazis are bad. Ooh, Tucker Carlson's like, interesting. Can I please get a crumb of pussy, ma'am? Can I please? Can I please fuck you? Please, oh my god, I'm so desperate. I want to fuck you so bad. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I need your pussy, ma'am. That's what he's saying. Every time he fucking replies, he's literally like, I will literally kill myself if you don't give me a crumb of pussy. Please. That's what you're saying, Elon. We know what you're doing. We know what you're doing, you tip, milady ass libertarian piece of shit. What the fuck? It's so dumb. He's like, didn't the story come from Bellingcat, which literally specializes in psychological operation? Tip, milady. I don't want to hurt their feelings, but this is either the weirdest story ever or a very bad psyop. Please have my 12th son. Please. Please. You have such childbearing hips. I like this. Please. Oh my god. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. I've seen this fucking troglodyte literally reply to every single post with a redheaded libertarian. I don't want to see the redheaded libertarian, okay? I don't give a fuck about the redheaded libertarian. God damn it, dude. Conservatives are so fucking lame. Like, one Minnesota 7 goes out and is like, I'm libertarian, and everyone's like, oh my god, finally, we have one. It's like, you did this with Tommy Lauren, and now you're doing this with a redheaded libertarian. Keep it in your fucking pants, dude. Jerk off. Jerk off before posting. Holy shit. Like, I get it. All of the sex workers, unfortunately for you, are in hammer and sickle Twitter, okay? So you can't do that to them because they're like, I don't know, posting about how they want to fucking kill the rich or some shit, okay? Literally, just every fucking time. Anytime there's like a average looking lady who's like, I'm actually a conservative. I'm like a horrifyingly racist person. Every conservative is like, oh my god, we found one. That's it. So good. I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to see any of this dumb shit anymore, okay? Holy fuck. Ugh. Since 1968, there have been over 193,500 interracial murders, including 35,000 white women murdered by blacks, 85.4% of female total, 6,000 black women murdered by whites. Let's think about that for a second. So, 35,000 white women were murdered by black people. The interracial race statistics are really interesting. Especially when you consider that the overwhelming majority, around 90% of crime, okay, is being committed intra-racially, as in inside of the race. So it's white on white crime or black on black crime. So what does that leave us with here? When you talk about 35,000 white women murdered by black people, oh, that's right. There is a fuckload more white people in the country. It's just simple fucking math. Oh my god. That's crazy. It's almost like when 60% of the country is white, then like the victims overwhelmingly are still going to be in larger numbers white people. Wow. Wow. That's wild. Wow. Math, dude. It's so simple. It's so fucking simple. What the fuck? These guys are the brilliant science leaders of the nation, of the world, of the planet. Really? I can't even talk. This kind of shit is so frustrating because it's just like celebrating idiocy, okay? And I fucking can't stand it, dude. I can't fucking stand it. I hate it. I despise it. They're so confident in their fucking stupidity. It blows my mind. Why is nobody going, hey man, that's actually wrong and dumb. You're wrong and dumb for saying this. Like, do you not have a single fucking person in your circle that can be like, hey dog, not to correct you because you're the great boss king of the planet, but like, it seems like you have a complete false reading on the situation. Just think it through a little bit. There's a great danger to media stoking the fires of hatred. Oh, God. There's an appeal to just writing off Musk's turn towards fascism as a silly, sad, weird little story, but we did that with Trump and the January 6th happened. What? Even as Elon Musk falls deeper into the web of far-right conspiracy theories.
The goal is for you to come away from this video understanding one of the most important formulas in all of probability, Bayes' theorem. This formula, it's central to scientific discovery. It's a...
What? I'm not watching that. I parsed through the math of how more white guys get killed by the cops despite the fact that black guys get killed at a higher rate. And he said he didn't believe the math. What? What does that mean? Great breakdown of this. Kareem Carr, data scientist. I know a lot of you want a technical breakdown of this meme, so here it is. What is this? Misleading format. First thing I did was recreate the bar chart. I wanted to make sure that my calculations matched theirs since they seem to have modified the data reported in the original source. Interracial violent crime incidents. 2018. Black on white, 547,000. Black on Hispanic, white on black, white on Hispanic, Hispanic white, and then Hispanic on black. The original table had percentages, and those seem to have been used to reverse engineers in the numbers in the bar chart. Oh my god. Oh, that's so fucking... that's awful. Number of violent incidents, white, black, Hispanic, offender race, and ethnicity. Small nitpick. Since the percentages are only reported to 3 significant figures, the original bar chart should display numbers to 3 significant figures as well. It's minor, but contributes to the overall sense of the chart as misleading. In my opinion, the original table is vastly superior to the bar chart. It communicates clearly the fact that rates at which white victims experience violent crime involving black offenders is very similar to the overall percentage of black people in the population, 14.6. Yeah, there you go. This point is actively obscured by turning these percentages into counts in the graph. Poor organization of information. It's just, there are more white people in the country, okay? There are more white people. White people make up like 60% of the entire fucking nation, okay? So, of course, there are going to be, in totality, more white victims of everything. More white victims, more white perpetrators of violent crime, more white everything, despite the fact that, black people on average are still poorer overall than white people, okay? That's it. That's the entire point of this. I mean, we don't even need to fucking break it down any further, but, let's do it, okay? This particularly misleading because without context, it makes it seem as if black offenders are going out of their way to seek out white victims. But overwhelming majority of Americans are white. The implications of this fact are a bit shocking, so let's let this sink in. In a truly race-blind society where most of the people are white and where victims are being selected purely at random, the vast majority of crimes committed by black offenders should involve white victims. This should be our default hypothesis. Exactly. Because most people are white. So clearly, you know, if you're looking at especially interracial crime, yes, there are going to be more, white victims of crime. Missing context. If we add the same race crime, we see that the vast majority of violent crimes in America involve white victims and white offenders. Exactly. There you go. If we thought race was a huge factor and wanted to make the biggest impact on crime numbers, we might want to start there. Yeah, look at that. Here's the interracial same race violent crime incidents. Wow, white on white crime sure seems out of control. 2.2 million, dude? What the fuck? Oh my God, why is nobody talking about white on white crime? You know how people always say, why is nobody talking about black on black crime? Which is like an incredibly fucking dumbass racist thing to say. Because again, this chart doesn't show you this reality because we're looking at totalities now, and that's not how you do statistics. But black on black crime, the rate of black on black crime across the board is identical to the rate of white on white crime across the board, regardless of the fact that, in totality, the white on white crime fucking blows the lid on crime in general. Okay? If you know how to read statistics, you wouldn't get duped by this. But if you're talking to a fucking dumbass, like a Republican, you should maybe, sneak this in there. Just be like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Why is nobody talking about white on white crime? 2.2 million incidents. As opposed to the black on black crime, which is 396,000. What's up with that? What's going on with that? What's going on? White offenders cause more violent crime than every other group. If you think race is an important causal factor, then we must conclude that reducing rate at which white people commit violent crime would have the biggest impact on America, not just for white people, but for America in general. Unfair comparison due to age. According to Pew Research, the most common age of white Americans in 2018 is 58. For black Americans, is 27. As you can imagine, there's probably not a lot of 58-year-olds running around committing violent crime. So there's that as well. When we compare the white population to the black population without adjustment, we are essentially comparing 58-year-olds to 27-year-olds. This is not a fair comparison. Unfair comparison due to wealth. It is pretty much common knowledge that black Americans have much less wealth than white Americans. When we compare crimes between groups, we are also comparing across wealth and income levels. Again, this is not a fair comparison. Exactly. Crime doesn't exist in nature. It's socially constructed by humans. When comparing social constructs between groups, we have to ask ourselves if the thing we are observing is socially constructed in exactly the same way for both groups. Do violent crime incidents have exactly the same probability of being reported and investigated regardless of race? Do offenders have exactly the same probability of being arrested? Do arrestees have exactly the same probability of being convicted? Of course not. As we know, the criminal justice system is not exactly too fond of black people and actually mistreats them regularly. Black people have an insanely high percentage in comparison to white people of being cleared of crimes due to DNA, according to the Innocence Project at least, especially black men on death row. So do with that information what you will. If not, then violent crime might not be a good candidate for comparison measure between groups. Race can be an emotional topic, so let me explain this with a physical example. I know what I'm saying sounds like squishy humanities issues, but it's actually 100% rock hard science issue. Imagine we have two detectors. One detects B particles and the other W particles. If the detectors, okay, I don't want to. This is too boring. Anyway, it's a bad use of data because it's a misleading format. It's got poor organization. It's got missing context, and it's confounding by age. Did my food come here? Dude, at least thank the raiders for joining. Who raided? Can't tell if they knocked or not. Great TikTok explanation of this.
So you might have seen this tweet going around by End Wokeness, which has even reached the richest person in the world. The replies are to believe this graph shows some factual statistic. this is pretty stupid. So there's a couple things I would like to point out here. First off, anybody with half a brain who's taken at least 3 seconds of a stats course will think it's very strange that this data is being reported in absolute numbers as opposed to rates of population. Because guess what? White people make up the majority of Americans. So obviously they're going to make up the majority of victims. Similarly, black people are obviously going to make up a smaller percentage of victims in the country just based on the fact that there are far fewer black people. But the explanations are obviously not that simple, so I'm going to need to see a better representation of this data in order to get a better picture of what's actually going on here. Here it is. First thing you'll notice that the majority of violent crimes committed against white people are committed by other white people. Similarly, the majority of violent crimes committed against black people are also by other black people. You've probably heard of this before. It's essentially proximity crimes. Most of the time, violent acts are committed against people that are physically close to you, and most of the time, that will be people of the same race. And according to this data, 15% of violent crimes committed against white people are committed by black people, which is a very familiar looking number for some reason. Although, I don't know, I'll have to get back to you on that one. But wait, oh my god, white people are only the silly 10%. Before all the Ben Shapiro's here having an orgasm, let's use our critical thinking brains for a second. So this is not based off crime statistics, this is a survey, which means it is obviously subject to people's own feelings about their victimization, which can certainly come with biases. But let's assume all this data is entirely accurate and ask ourselves, why would it be that white people would commit violence against black people less often than black people would against white people? Remember, the overwhelming majority of crimes are not race-based, so we have to ask ourselves, why would a certain race be a victim in a non-race-based violent crime? And again, this has to do with proximity. And look, I've traveled a lot of the United States, including a lot of rural and suburban America. And I can tell you, if you live anywhere here and you want to commit a crime against a black person, good luck. Honestly, even if you live here, unless you live in downtown St. Louis or Chicago or something, if you commit a violent crime, the odds of the victim being black are very, very small. I can demonstrate this a little bit more clearly by taking a look at my lonely hometown, Long Island. Roughly 10% of Long Island is black, Nassau and Suffolk County, which is roughly similar to the national average. However, of the 291 communities on Long Island, half of the black population live in just 11 of them, and over 90% of the black population lives in just 62 of them, which means the remaining 230 communities on Long Island consist of only 10% of the black population, which means white people growing up on Long Island will almost certainly grow up in a town like this, i.e., if a white person on Long Island were to commit a non-race-based violent crime, the odds of the victim of that crime being black are very, very small, just by virtue of the fact that most white people on Long Island only live around other white people. You might say, wait a minute, shouldn't the exact same thing be true in the reverse? Except, no, it actually shouldn't. And we can see this by taking a look at Bed-Stuy, which I was surprised to see apparently has one of the highest concentrations of black residents in the United States, which was surprising because only 45% of Bed-Stuy is black. Which means, by the way, even in a community that has one of the highest concentrations of black people in the country, if a violent crime is committed here, there's still a 30% chance that the victim would be white. But let's say you live in Bed-Stuy. How far would you have to travel to commit a violent crime in a predominantly white neighborhood? Well, you'd have to go here. And so ultimately, the big difference is that the overwhelming majority of white people in the United States do not live in close proximity to black neighborhoods. However, the overwhelming majority of black people do live in close proximity to other white neighborhoods. Maybe not next door neighbors, but at the very least within 5 miles. Which means if you take a white person and a black person at random and have them commit a violent crime where they are, it is much, much, much more likely that the black person would be committing a crime against a white person than it would that this white person would be committing a crime against a black person, just by virtue of who is around them. And remember, all of this is amplified by the fact that 70% of the United States live in suburbs or in rural areas, and 75% of white people live in suburbia, both of which are incredibly segregated. Now, truthfully, all these crime statistics get a little bit mucky because, first off, crime statistics is really hard to determine in general because they're confounded by multiple different things, including poverty, education, how many police there are in a certain area, because obviously two communities...
How? You've never thought about that before? What do you mean? I just described it. For the record, this is Stats 101, and this is just like American Experience 101, which is why it's infinitely more... this is literally what I just described before this TikTok video. Chat, when you were saying it, I ignored it. Yeah, except you shouldn't ignore what I have to say, especially at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a subscribe by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. Someone is watching the stream. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Speaking of crime, apparently there's a chase happening. Is that what's going on? Food verdict. It's pretty good.
Communities that are equally violent, the one that has more police will have more arrests because there are more people there to physically catch crimes. But when we talk about interracial crime and what narrative the media is spinning, as is implied by that tweet, what they're talking about is crime that is based off of race. So what I would like to see is not just how many interracial crimes there are, but how many interracial crimes there are that are motivated by race. And if that differs depending on the race of the victim. I mean, I don't know, it'd just be really nice if, like, the FBI or something had statistics on hate crimes in the United States. Oh, shoot. And wow, would you look at that? Almost 3 times as many crimes that are deemed as specifically anti-black or anti-African American versus crimes that are anti-white. But I don't want to just go by absolutes here. I want to look at what percentage of total interracial violent crime against white or black people is specifically motivated by race. So if white people commit 62% of crimes against other white people, then that would mean 1.357 million crimes against white people committed by non-white people versus 116,000 crimes committed against black people by non-black people. And with 1942 hate crimes listed that year, that would give us a hate crime rate of 1.67% against black people versus a hate crime rate of 0.05% against white people. Look, here's my chart, Elon. Why don't you retweet this? And by the way, that's me.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm eating and there's no actual noise gate, so it's gonna be really fucking annoying. Chat is. Alright, let's get back to Tucker Carlson.
LZ Granderson and CNN media analyst Sarah Fisher is joining us as well. Sarah, Tucker went on to say that he's going to put his show on Twitter. What is a Twitter TV show?
That's a great question. I think we're all dying to find out. Twitter, of course, has character limits, but when you subscribe to Twitter Blue, its subscription service, you get a little bit more space. Now, you can add a video to Twitter, not a full hour-length video, though, Allison. That's going to require a lot of work on the back end. I would imagine if you were to do a show, it would be truncated, so it wouldn't be that full hour that he had at Fox. And he might want to break it up, maybe put out some segments in different tweets, etc. But as I understand Twitter right now, they're going to have to race to build that type of functionality to get a full hour-long show there, although they do have live functionality. So if he wanted to go live and put a Twitter show up, I think that would be possible.
Okay, that's interesting. Tucker, you're also reporting, Sarah, that Tucker is accusing Fox of fraud and breach of contract. So how does he say they defrauded him?
So basically what he's saying is that Fox executives, with sources tell me are Fox's chief legal and policy officer and Rupert Murdoch himself, made these promises to Carlson, basically saying, look, if you hand over your personal communications, we'll safeguard it, we'll make sure that it doesn't get leaked. And then he's now saying, well, look, it's been leaked, it's been reported on in the media, and so you have then broken a verbal promise to me, and that, Carlson's lawyers are alleging, is a breach of his employment contract, because the terms of an agreement between the employer and the person who is working for the company have changed. Now, of course, that was up to a court. That will be up to a court to decide whether or not that's actually going to be considered a breach of his contract.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah, very much. Let me bring in our panel now. Josh, they have to hand it over in discovery? I mean, why is Fox responsible for that? They can't be responsible for all leaks.
Well, I mean, people with misophonia are the most annoying motherfuckers on the planet. Bro, no one cares that you have this, like, fake disability that you made up, okay? No one cares. Yeah, you get annoyed by mouth noises? Yeah, welcome to the fucking world. I do too. Okay? I do too. Like, just fucking shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? It's like, you're so unbearable, dude. You would think that, like, you're quadra-fucking-pelegic or something. Like, holy shit. You would think, like, on Twitch.tv... people with misophonia are literally the most unbearable. Like, oh my God, I'm getting 3rd-degree burns on my entire body because I heard your mouth noises. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. I promise you, you and hearing your fucking annoying dumbass in the chat is infinitely more annoying to other chatters who have normal brains. Okay? Sorry. Sucks to suck. Suck my fucking cock. Okay? There you go. Are you happy? It's ableism time, baby. God damn, dude. Little fucking bitches. Oh my God.
I mean, there's a number of accusations in this letter again to Fox, including that he claims that one member of the Fox board told him that it was a condition of the settlement that they would fire him. Now,
Something Dominion has denied.
Dominion and Fox have both denied that. It doesn't make sense as something for Dominion to demand because Tucker was not even really at the center of their allegations. It was more about Maria Bartiromo and Janine Pirro and various other people. And Dominion doesn't get any real financial gain from them firing Tucker Carlson. So I think first thing I would say is just because Tucker Carlson has accused Fox of doing certain things in a letter doesn't mean that he's done all of them. Now, obviously, a lot of people have been speculating about various materials that have gotten into the media since Tucker Carlson's firing, including that text message in which he is commenting on this riot and saying, well, this is not how white people fight, and that Fox's concern was that people were going to find out that Tucker Carlson was racist and that was why they fired him.
Breaking news.
The idea that Fox was behind those leaks, I do not find that idea crazy, given some of the ways that Fox has dealt with departing talent in the past. But I think this is all an effort to get out of his Fox contract, and that's been clear in the news coverage that Tucker wants to be out there in the arena. He's not allowed to go and do another show unless Fox lets him out of his contract. And so far, Fox has been continuing to pay him. They can keep him under contract until after the next election.
I guess the bigger question, guys, is what does this mean for the world? What does this mean for the world? If he doesn't have his powerful platform on Fox, which is a powerful platform, and it's on Twitter, does that, suddenly reduce his power?
I mean, I think his power has been so greatly reduced. Like, to say that you even have a Twitter show, we're all asking what that means because it's not a thing. Like, I upload videos of my dog. My dog does not have a Twitter show. So I think, this is a man who has been embarrassed publicly, has lost his job publicly. This feels like a last gasp in the same way that Elon Musk owning Twitter feels like the last gasp of trying to be relevant. It's a dying social network, like no one knows who's verified. The people who are verified are now unhinged. I just don't see what he gets out of this. And his audience is largely older, doesn't know how to have two-factor verification, especially not using their phone. So I don't see this as some great comeback. I see this as just diminishing returns in every way and embarrassing.
I think that's interesting, but I would also just caution that reports of his demise and of Twitter's may be premature because, Tucker, I think, does have a grip on a large portion of America. And if you read the comments under his announcement, people are like, can't wait, the hell with Fox. Like, they're ready to go wherever he's going.
Which is why the question about power first.
Yeah, because you're an idiot and you fucking see blue checkmark people and don't realize that, like, one, Twitter views are not real. And two, you're engaging in the dumbest form of, like, sampling bias. You literally look at blue check marks and you basically hand it to Elon. You see it as valid. It's not. There's so many motherfuckers with like 30. So many motherfuckers with like 30 followers just saying the most unhinged shit under those posts. It doesn't mean anything.
We need to first define how are we defining power. Yes, he lost the power that he got from being on Fox, but what other power does he still have, and how is he going to use
White
that
power,
power?
that's what he
Because
has.
as we saw, Fox was just one aspect of his influence. He's influenced in a lot of different areas in terms of everyday life, and while he may not have the same audience size on Twitter, he may not need the same size to have a similar or greater impact. So as we discuss this, power isn't simply about Twitter followers or simply being on television.
Yeah.
Power is what's happening in those rooms where it happens.
Well, one of the things, thank you for that Hamilton quote. I like that.
I was wondering if you was paying attention.
I was. One of the ways that he had power in these rooms where it happened is that he did have the ear, and in fact, often more than the ear of some politicians like Kevin McCarthy. He got Kevin McCarthy to hand over the tapes from January 6th. He was very influential in Republican political circles. Do you think that he will still have that?
Well, I think that influence still exists. Will it wane a little bit? We'll have to see. I think, again, if you look at somebody like Ron DeSantis, he was easily able to get.
How many times has Kevin McCarthy individually in person appeared on the Daily Wire? How many times? How many times has Kevin McCarthy appeared on Bill O'Reilly's show? It exists. It's out there. It's like number 700 on the news podcasting world. How many times has any prominent Republican politician appeared on the Blaze Network? The only one that does it is Ted Cruz. Sometimes Dan Crenshaw. Don't be ridiculous.
A message out, whatever that message of the week was that they put on the placard at the front of those podiums. So yes, that's going to change a little bit. I think also don't necessarily dismiss Twitter right away. Certainly, he's probably going to deal with the fact that, to your point, a large portion of that 3.6 million that were tuning in don't have the two-factor authentication, don't actually know where they can even download Twitter from, right? But there also is a potential for new audiences, right? I make the comparison to somebody who says they are a member or supporter of Planned Parenthood versus somebody who says they're a member or supporter of the NRA, even though they haven't necessarily given any money in 10 or 20 years, right? It's that type of synthetic organization of people who support someone, and many of them had been getting his information in the digital landscape anyway, whether it was via Facebook, whether it was via Twitter. So I just think that there is the opportunity, even if you're not necessarily watching him live during a Twitter live, for those clips to be recorded, to be dispersed through YouTube, through a vast multitude of an increasingly fractured but also growing digital space.
And Sarah, and then there was this other plot twist on all of this, and that was what Elon Musk had to say about it. He said, I also want to be clear, this was after Tucker's statement, that we have not signed a deal of any kind whatsoever. Tucker is subject to the same rules and rewards of all content creators. Rewards means subscriptions and advertising revenue share, coming soon, which is a function of how many people subscribe and the advertising views associated with the content. I hope that many others, particularly from the left, also choose to be content creators on this platform. That is a strange announcement, or announcing that you've just landed your biggest star.
Right? You would expect him to be welcoming Tucker with open arms, and instead he's saying, wait a minute, you're
The reason why he can't say that is because he was sitting next to Rupert Murdoch at the Super Bowl. For the chatter who was saying, oh, I wonder if they were plotting this together, fuck no. You're out of your fucking mind if you think that Rupert Murdoch would let that happen.
subject to the same rules as everyone else. We're going to fact check you using community notes just like everybody else. Look, Elon Musk has a tough job on his hands. He's got to bring advertisers back. He's got to make sure users stay on the platform. And he knows that by bringing on a polarizing figure like Tucker Carlson, even if he's really popular on the right, that could jeopardize his ability to continue to grow the business. So that's why I think you see him respond in a tempered manner, saying, look, it's great that you're here, but we're not going to give you special treatment just because you're doing this show with us. The last thing I'd say, Allison, is Tucker, I think, is going to explore other options. I don't expect the Twitter thing to be the only thing he does. I mean, Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy has said that we'd still welcome a show with Carlson. And so I think maybe he'll try out the Twitter thing. I think he likes the zeitgeist and the, opinion leader focus of that audience. But he'll probably do other stuff, too.
Sarah, thank you very much for your reporting. Great to have you.
All right, this just in to CNN. House Republicans say that they have evidence that members of
Yeah, like I mentioned already, the annoying part of this is that Elon Musk will do everything to like highlight Tucker Carlson, but it'll just be annoying. It'll be a nuisance, and it'll be fucking annoying, and that's it. It won't be anything but just a nuisance and annoying, and the daily beasts of the world will cover it extensively because they see it in front of their eyes and they get mad. But his impact is so dulled.
The list goes on. So,
but in terms of what he is proposing, is there any room for negotiation?
What's he proposing? Did he tell you?
Well,
Did you
he
hear?
talked about.
No, I'm not being facetious. Did he tell you what he's proposing? The list goes on. So,
But in terms of what he is proposing, is there any room for negotiation?
what's he proposing? Did he tell you?
Well,
Did you
he
hear?
talked about.
No, I'm not being facetious. Did he tell you what he's proposing?
He was talking about the bill.
Yeah, but what does it propose? Do you know? I'm not being a wise guy. You all are very, very informed people. Do you know what that bill cuts?
There is a long list of things that it cuts. That
No, it doesn't say. It says, does it say what it's going to cut? Or just say generically it's going to cut? You get the problem. You've answered it.
Speaker McCarthy told us.
The list goes.
Honestly. Oh God. Oh! Okay. I gotta mention something here. Okay? If you get this fucking... If you get this horrifically owned by an 800-year-old man who half the time doesn't know what room he's in, you should just leave your badge at the door. Like, actually, he, like, stuttered his way into long dicking you, dude. Holy fuck. He said, why? Here's my cock, Jack. Cut the slack. It's also really, really undesirable that the media does constantly have to play the centrist note whenever a Democratic Party is in charge. Where they're like, hey, so can we be like, fiscal hawks a little bit? Can we talk about the deficit? Can we talk about the budget ceiling? Speaking of old motherfuckers who should not be anywhere near power, Dianne Feinstein has returned to the Capitol, looking so hot. Now, there's a lot of naysayers out there. I'm going to address all of them, okay? I've seen a lot of people say hurtful things about my lady. And I'll tell you what. Hi, everybody, Feinstein says, as she makes her return to the Senate. Why are you guys all here? Where's Martha? Is what she also said. Martha is Dianne Feinstein's dead relative. I'm just making that up, actually. I don't know if that's real or not. But anyway. I think the reality is that Dianne is back. And she's hot. And everyone's jealous. That's a hot bitch. She's a sexy bitch. She's serving cunt. She needs to retire, but would you agree targeting her staff is crossing a line? No, dude, what? No. The fuck do you mean? Her staffers are the same fucking people that are literally keeping her around, brother. What the fuck are you talking about? Bro, that woman can't make decisions on her own. Get Young Gravy to the Capitol. She'll get her moving ASAP. Bro. The second coming of Jesus Christ won't get Dianne Feinstein moving. She was there for the first. She was there for the resurrection. She literally did the crucifixion, dude. American politics is so stupid. Like, why do we have to sit there and wait for her to die? It's so fucking pathetic. It's so dumb. Shout out to the Democratic Party for seeing this fucking decrepit old carcass and going, no, she's eligible for another term, actually. It's very good. And no, a couple of months back when they decided, no, she should stay on the Senate committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee. One of the most important fucking committees in the Senate. They all suck, dude. They're all such fucking assholes. I got nothing for them. Oh, yeah. Does anyone have the... Dude, does anyone have the Jake Tapper interview? I watched it. Jake Tapper let Dick Durbin, the Senate whip, which, you know, Chuck Schumer rolls around whenever he's too big of a pussy to fucking come out and speak for himself. Jake Tapper is not the type of guy you want to fucking get criticism from. Why do I say that?
I mean...
Because Jake Tapper is the most tepid, boring, banal, vanilla, center-right liberal you can get. When you got Jake Tapper ass tapping, shit's gone wrong. He's the last guy you want to hear from. Okay? Let him talk shit about Donald Trump all day, every day, okay? That's what he's best at. When he's shitting on the Democrats, you know... When you're shitting on Democrats from a leftist position, you know you are so fucked up.
All due respect, sir, you and your fellow Democrats were very ginger and very polite when it came to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and not pushing her to retire when you had a Democratic majority in the Senate. How'd that work out for you? How'd that work out for Roe v. Wade?
Well, I can tell you that you can play these out and try to guess what the Supreme Court...
I'm not kidding. Like, with the exception of the new mayor of Chicago and maybe J.B. Pritzker and a handful of other politicians, everyone that is a politician in the state of Illinois is going to hell. I fucking hate them so much. He's such a piece of shit. First of all, incredible. He said, it's a fucking, it's a coin toss, really. Is it? Is it a coin toss? Like, you think the Republican Supreme Court justices weren't appointed specifically for, eviscerating Roe v. Wade? That's crazy, dog. That's shocking. Yeah. Who would have thought, man?
Will be. The bottom line is, though, we have in the past had members of the Senate, I can think of a handful as I'm sitting here, Democrats and Republicans, who've been absent because of medical conditions for lengthy periods of time. I want to treat Dianne Feinstein fairly. I want to be sensitive to her family situation and her personal situation.
Bro, what do you mean? Like, it's not like she got caught having an affair, dude. Like, what the fuck? She's just like 900 years old. You want to be like, dude, get that shit out of the Senate. Like, I don't understand. What do you mean? Like, I want to be like, I want to make sure that her privacy is like, is fine. I want to make sure that her family's alright. Like, what do you mean, bitch? She's fucking 900 years old. She's already a gorillionaire. She literally invented the toast, the white toast bread. She invented it. She invented chocolate chip cookies, man. Okay, she didn't invent either of those things, but she was literally alive when those things were invented. That's not even a joke. She has made hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, it's not like her family's gonna go starving if she fucking doesn't go for another term, you know?
I don't want to say that she's going to be put under more pressure than others have been in the past. But the bottom line is the business of the committee and of the Senate is affected by her absence.
I mean, all due respect, sir, you and your fellow Democrats were very...
She was 60 when you were born? Jesus Christ. Sikti min ağzına. Siktiğimin ağzını şapırdatma, domuz bayırı gibi oldu benim minik civciv. Anyway. Incredible stuff that Dianne Feinstein is pulling off, dude. I like that the counter is like, well, there are other really old people in Senate. Okay, thanks, man. No, I really, this is the winning narrative for the, broader majority. Anyway, here's Tim Pool reacting to the shooter being a fan of his. The Nazi shooter.
So my point is, this is grasping at straws, right? Because even if they can definitively prove, even if it turns out that this is legitimate, that really is this guy's profile, they're telling the truth and they have good reasons to be confident, that still is not the nail in the coffin that they think it is here.
I mean, I got to be honest, like, I think it's funny and I really just don't care. I think we've won so much ground in the culture war that it is completely meaningless that they would even do it, assuming it was a psyop. It means nothing to me. It's just funny.
The fact
What? Wait, what is he doing? Is he all right?
I think it's funny, and I really just don't care. I think we've won so much ground in the culture war that it is completely meaningless that they would even do it, assuming it was a psyop.
I'm not mad. I'm actually laughing. Is funny, but bro, you're talking about a mass shooter. Yo, what the fuck's going on, dude? Okay, this is what I noticed. And I thought I was taking fucking crazy pills or something, given the way that these guys have been, like, openly acting about this stuff. Like, the right used to say, thoughts and, you know, prayers, I feel so sad about mass shootings. Like, oh, man, how do we fix it? Don't make it political. Nowadays, like, or they would distance themselves from the shooter if the shooter's manifesto was like, I love Tim Pool, and this is why I'm shooting people. Like, not this one. Okay? This shooter didn't say he loves Tim Pool, but we did find out he does love Tim Pool. But, like, back in the day, they'd like, go on the defensive and be like, this is not what I am. This is not what I represent. It's really fucked up. And then the Q nightclub shooting happened, and Matt Walsh pretty much openly was like, yeah, more should happen, actually. And it's your fault for being trans in public. And now this Nazi fucking goes out to an Allen, Texas mall and, like, starts unloading into everyone he can. And these guys are like, oh, this must be a psyop. To do what exactly? Like, you think the government is doing a psyop to, like, make Nazis look bad? Like, what? Like, I don't think anybody needs a psyop for that, dog. What do you mean? World War II was a psyop? Is that what's going on? Like, what the fuck? What planet are you on that you think the government needs to do a psyop to really instill the idea that Nazis are bad and can be, like, violent psychopaths? Like, what do you mean? What is not adding up about this entire thing? I'm imagining a guy going around being like, man, those Nazis have some good ideas. Oh no, they just did a mass murder. Fuck. I guess I'm not a Nazi now. Oh man, it's making me think real long and hard about this Nazi stuff.
It means nothing to me. It's just funny.
The fact that every chance they get, they're
gotta be honest. Like,
if I had known that Nazis were okay with mass murder, I would not have been on board earlier. Yeah. No, I think Tim thinks it's an actual swipe against him specifically. There's no way. No, I don't think Tim thinks that. I think in the most charitable interpretation of events that are unfolding in front of our eyes, they're saying, like, the classic things that they say all the time, which is that, like, they activated, like, a crazy gun guy to go out and do a mass shooting so they can, like, justify extra funds for the intelligence communities, you know, and freak people out and I guess, like, make Nazis look bad. Like, it's weird. Michael Tracy has had a really funny couple of tweets on this issue. He's on the I will never back down brigade. Has anyone seen those incredible comments from Michael Treacy? Wait, what? Tim Pool calls the Allen, Texas shooters pro-Nazi online footprint a psyop and blames mass shootings on multicultural.
We have this from NBC News. What we know about the slain Texas Mall massacre suspect, Mauricio Garcia. Garcia, who had a tactical vest, was armed with a rifle and a handgun. A senior law enforcement official said. Authorities said he was a suspected neo-Nazi sympathizer. Now, this story it's a tragedy. It's unfortunate. And we have, unfortunately, too many of these stories that end up happening in the media. Or I'm sorry, that end up happening and then end up hitting the media. So, I mean, the first thing I just want to say before we get into any of the...
Yeah, that's what he cares about. He's like, oh, fuck, man. It sucks when my guys are out here doing stuff like this. Because then it makes us look bad in the media. And I hate that. You know, hey, fans, just calm down, okay? Don't get out of line here. You're getting in the media, and I don't like that.
The politics from either side is, yeah, we don't want these things to happen. We want these things to stop. We need to figure out what the issue is in our society, in our culture. I genuinely believe it's disassociation. It is a dejected society where individuals don't know or care about each other, and they seek validation or they seek to push some extremist ideology. And then this whole thing creates a recipe for disaster. And I'll put it simply, I think it's multiculturalism. And not the idea that people of all different types are holding hands on the rainbow. It's that you have different communities stacked on top of each other and next to each other with wildly different views, and they don't like each other. And then people who are crazy will do crazy things. But what ends up happening today, we have this story from the Daily Mail. Revealed Texas gunmen staked out massacre mall to monitor peak times 3 weeks before killing 8, and posted details on Russian social media alongside photos of Nazis, guns, and ammunition. You see, here's where we get into the psyop. No one knows if this Russian social media profile...
I love calling this a psyop and then turning around and literally agreeing with the premise of what the guy is doing. Guys, I know the media is saying that this Nazi was a fan of mine and it's a psyop, but like, the real reason why these shootings are happening is because of diversity and multiculturalism and race mixing. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Thank you. I mean, congratulations. That's a really good take. Yeah, now I know why the guy was a fan of you. At least I figured that out. Like what's the alternative there? Oh, it's happening because of multiculturalism? Okay. That's a little snide remark that you just snuck in there. So, what's your suggestion? A mono-ethnic society? Is that what we're gonna do? How are we gonna go about that, Tim? Where would you be in a non-multicultural society? Aren't you like half Asian or some shit? What the fuck's going on there? Is the beanie on too tight? What's happening? You're bald. That's like, I guess, a genetic disability. If you go far down enough in the fascist pipeline, I'm sure that they don't consider that to be Aryan-like. You know what I mean? Where are we going?
Side photos of Nazis, guns, and ammunition. You see, here's where we get into the psyop. No one knows if this Russian social media profile is it actually belongs to this guy. A Bellingcat researcher named Eric Toller just said, I found this profile that looks like it's his. In fact, I'm pretty sure he even said, I didn't verify it, I don't know. Now, the photos that are coming out...
I just don't understand it because, like, the level of detail on this, like, fucking Russian website that he seemingly used like a diary. Like, the amount of information on there is so insane. Like, they were, I guess, setting up this psyop for what? Like 2 years? Because there's like shit that he posted on there from like 2 years ago with his like legal name on it and stuff. So what? 3 years ago, he was just, the government, man, they're so good at these psyops. Lee Harvey Oswald has a thinner footprint than this guy. See, That's what I'm talking about, dude. Like, Lee Harvey Oswald, that shit is actually verifiably insane. Okay? Like, this guy, on the other hand, very clearly fits the pattern that you have seen so many fucking times over. Like, that's a psyop. It's not even a psyop. It's a assassination, a successful assassination with a patsy, a fall guy, who, you know, worked with intelligence his entire fucking adult life. You know what I mean? This guy's a fucking weird loser online who is a fan of Tim Pool. And who got more and more radicalized. Not saying he got that level of radicalization on the Tim Pool podcast. I don't really... What the fuck? I don't really watch him that much. But it does feel like maybe he is getting radicalized to that degree at the Tim Pool broadcast. Because, like, of what I just saw, he's talking about how multiculturalism is the reason why mass shootings happen. No, it's a ghost, guys. It's fine. CIA heart attack gun. Where are you? I'm in a scary facility. Dude, I drank so many sodies and so much coffee. Now I'm not going to be able to go to sleep, I think. Which will be very funny. We're in Scandinavian jail. Oh, here. This is what I wanted to look at. Michael Tracy. Yeah, the guy had Nazi tattoos. Rational inquiry still requires examining additional context. These symbols aren't magically dispositive. Charles Manson carved a swastika on his forehead. Not because he was a not literal Nazi, but because he was a head case who wanted to shock people. That's awesome. That's awesome. Police investigating the case just said today that they have not identified a motive, and they've seen the Nazi tattoos. Do you think they're really desperate to cover up this guy's ideological alliance to Nazism? Maybe. Wouldn't shock me. Or could it be that the motive is genuinely not apparent? You either have no idea about Charles Manson or you have an absurdly hard threshold for who you consider to be a Nazi. They're literally doing this. Yeah. Man, if you look at a guy who has a swastika on him and you go, oh, that guy's not a Nazi, you might be a Nazi. Like, honestly, I've never heard someone say such fucking stupid shit. And even if you're not a Nazi, like, I don't know. I mean, under the Nazi regime, you would be melted because, I'm sorry, you're mentally stunted, okay? There's no two ways to put it. Like, your brain doesn't work. And the Nazis weren't too fond of that. They will kill you. They will put you in a concentration camp and kill you because you're insufficient mentally. Okay? Because that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Oh, hold on now. This guy with the swastika tattoo, he might not be a Nazi. Look at this other mass murderer with the swastika tattoo. He wasn't really a Nazi. Okay, like what? I got it. All right. And I don't understand it because, like, it's super easy to just do the same shit you always do, which is, this guy has nothing to do with us. Like, which is a lie, obviously. But instead of doing that, they just straight up went with like, nah, it's a conspiracy. The government is trying to make us, I mean, not us, the Nazis look bad. And we are defending them. But we're not Nazis. We're just defending the Nazi who's not a Nazi. It's a psyop. Like, what? Very confused, MB. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. It's just, I'm very confused. It's a very confusing situation. Did this guy delete his tweet or did he block me? Oh, this guy. Here, this is what I was talking about. Why are the Ellen Moss shooter's tattoos so damn fresh? I don't know, because people fucking take photos when they get the tattoos. A Hispanic man with recent tattoos of Nazi symbols in the city of Dallas. This just doesn't add up. I said, very weird that the right is collectively looking for a deeper conspiracy here instead of distancing themselves from this psychotic Nazi, even for the sake of public appearances. Like they seemingly move beyond the fake thoughts and prayers and immediately rush to this. Co-worker said he smelled really bad.
So I just wanted to make comment on the Allen Texas mall shooting. You know, it was one of my coworkers that committed that crime. That shit it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? My heart goes out to the city of Allen, Texas, and all the survivors.
But why are you showing me this fucking Texas shit? I mean, not Texas shit. This TikTok shit, dude. Wait, how does Dallas make that less believable? Dude, I don't even know what he's trying to say. I don't know what they're trying to say. They're so fucking stupid. Oh, I put stochastic terror, the term they've been using for months to describe me, in my bio to trigger the left. Mission finally accomplished. The Allen, Texas shooter had Nazi and SS tattoos. He wrote that Joseph Mengele was his hero. In an online screed, he wrote, "This post is inspired by libs of TikTok before ranting about drag queen story hour." That post ended with the words Heil Hitler. Remember, by the way, libs of TikTok is literally Chaya Raichik, who is Jewish. She's an Orthodox Jew. So, you know, kind of funny that, like, they don't give a fuck. You know, the Nazis don't care. They're like, oh, united we stand against the trans people. You know what I mean? Lives of TikTok creator Chaya Ray. I wonder how many Nazis are actually massive fans of Lives of TikTok, not knowing that she is like a Jewish person. But it turns out Lives of TikTok creator Chaya Raichik appears to have removed stochastic terrorist from her Twitter bio. Pussy. Coward. Why is there discussion around the tattoos? Can't we see his body? No, I don't think there's any, like, actual photos from the shooting. Asked if he believed white nationalists should be allowed to serve in the military, Tuberville said, in referring to the Biden administration, they called them that. I call them Americans. What? Huh? Why did he say that out loud? Dude, I feel like everyone is in a competition to, like, out-Nazi one another. You know what I mean? It just legitimately feels like everyone's like, no, hold up. Let me cook, brother. Let me cook. Hold on. I'm going to sig heil way harder than you, motherfucker. You don't even understand, okay? I'm from Alabama, bitch. Wait. Read the second tweet in the Rex thread. It gets worse. He defends every hate group by name. Wait, what? Wait, what? So it's not even like a misunderstanding. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville, who sits on the Armed Services Committee, thinks white nationalists are just what the military needs. What a fucking take. We are losing in the military so fast, Tuberville told WBHM. Our readiness in terms of recruitment. And why? I'll tell you why. Because the Democrats are attacking our military, saying we need to get out the white extremists, the white nationalists, people that don't believe in our agenda as Joe Biden's agenda. They're destroying it. This year, we will not reach any recruiting goals in the military. So if we want to talk about looking weak, that's where we're going to look weak. We're going to start putting rules in there for one type, one group, and make different factions in the military. Because that's the most important institution in the United States of America. And our allies is a strong, hard-nosed killing machine, which is called our military. Wait, what? This doesn't say what you said it says, Megaphonics. The fuck? Come on, Megaphonics. I'm trying to defend you out here, but you're fucking making it hard, man. It's okay. Oh.
And the Biden administration trying to prevent white nationalists from being in the military, do you believe they should allow white nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans. What happened after January the 6th, and I was here on January the 6th, we were attacked on the Senate floor saying that all these people that came into the Capitol were extremists. They were against the country. There was a lot of people, there was probably 100 of them that came in, broke windows and broke doors that should have been locked up. That's not how we do it in America, but there were hundreds of thousands.
What? Okay, but you're not talking about those guys. You're talking about white nationalists, man. What the fuck? It's like, yeah, think about all them Germans, right? Think about all them Germans that didn't do war crimes. Fuck those Germans, okay? I'm talking about the Gestapo. Those are the guys we need. He's literally like, everybody talks about the SS. Everybody talks about the Gestapo. They say they're bad guys. We need those guys. I call them patriots. Also, think about all the Germans that didn't fight in World War II, you know? Think about all the Germans that weren't a part of the Nazi party, okay? Well, those guys that weren't a part of the Nazi party, I don't really care about those guys. I want to talk about the Gestapo.
Thousands that didn't come in outside that were true Americans that believe in this country. But right after that, our military and Secretary Austin put out a order to stand down, and all military across the country saying, we're going to run out the white nationalists, people that don't believe how we believe. And that's not how we do it in this country. We have got so much division up here that not for the country. You know, this is not for.
Yeah, I know what'll solve the division in the country. White separatists. Bring them back. Put them in the military. There's already a lot of them. Hire more of them. You know what I mean? You know what'll stop the division in this country? Racists. What the fuck? I'm calling on all kinds of Nazis. We need to unite the Nazis so that they can take over the military. That way everyone will think twice before calling me racist ever again.
For any individual, this country is for all of us, and we're all the same.
Yeah, all the Nazis, okay? You got the Ku Klux Klan, you got the Pat Socks, okay? You got Nat Socks, you got Nazis, all of them, all different kinds of white nationalists and white supremacists and white separatists. This country is for them. It was built by them, It's built for it. Remember when the founding fathers owned slaves? I love that. That's my favorite part about the founding fathers. It's great. Good stuff. Thank you, Tom.
It doesn't make any difference. You're rich, poor, black, white. It doesn't make any difference. Everybody as an American has opportunity to make this country better. We've made it 247 years, but I'm going to tell you what, we're walking a tightrope right now. How much longer this country is going to make it, as we all know it.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the less you allow Nazis to gain prominence in this country, the more this country's going to shit. Tuberville sucks at dog whistling. He's just racist. Here's an old clip.
Say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. Some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit.
I mean, he's just a Klan member, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Actually, no, you know what? At least the Klan guy wears a hood when he says this stuff. You know what I mean? He's not like, I'm Tommy Tuberville, and I'm the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He's just so stupid. Does he think he's got the robe on? Like, what's happening? It's wild because, like, look at the guy behind him. Dude, this guy's really into it, dude. And this guy, too. They're like, yeah! Yeah, they do love reparations. Fuck them.
They're not owed that.
Damn, dude. You got to think. Oh, come on now. Look at this dude's face. Pay close attention to this guy's face, please, throughout the entire process. As Tommy Tupperware is going fucking crazy mode about black people. And, like, it's not a dog whistle at that point, right? Like, everybody understands. Like, he's just straight up saying black people love doing crime and they falsely believe that they're owed reparations, and, like, crime is one form of that. Which is, like, super old school racism, you know what I mean? It's, like, such old school racism that it's, like, Klan level racism nowadays. But yeah, let's take a look at that one guy on the corner real quick. He's just... What's he doing?
Want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that.
He's not... Is he clapping? This is Minden, NV, a former sundown town. He not only said crime is black people behavior, he also followed it up by saying that, you know, black people do crime as a form of reparations. A lot of people are laughing at former sundown town, which is understandable. This was actually a really interesting news article. MLK's famous criticism of Malcolm X was a fraud, author finds. Jonathan Eeg was deep in the Duke University archives researching his new biography of MLK Jr., where he made an alarming discovery. King's harshest and most famous criticism of Malcolm X, in which he accuses fellow civil rights leader of being a fiery demagogic oratory, appears to have been fabricated. I think its historic reverberations are huge, Eek told the Washington Post. Well, no one gives a shit, okay? You're a history nerd, And I like it. I would love to find out more about MLK's like hidden side that doesn't get a lot of coverage. But like the reality is people don't give a shit. They literally say he was a Republican who was like race blind, you know what I mean? Like so no one in the history of the United States of America's like not super long history has ever been as whitewashed as Martin Luther King. Like his legacy has been bastardized and utilized to incredible ends, like to literally uphold and uplift white supremacy. It's so sad. Haley's legacy has been tarnished by accusations of plagiarism and historical inaccuracy in his most famous book, Roots, but his latest could open up more of his work to criticism, especially the autobiography of Malcolm X. Malcolm X, a member of the Nation of Islam, had frequently attacked King and his commitment to nonviolence, going so far as to call King a modern Uncle T-word. But his criticism often had strategic purposes, Eeg said. In acting as a foil to King, his message has more value to the media. King saw value in being a foil to Malcolm sometimes too, but I think at their core they had a lot in common. They certainly shared a lot of the same goals. Agreed. Eeg, who previously wrote acclaimed biographies of Muhammad Ali and Lou Gehrig, said he found the fabrication in the course of his standard book research for King, A Life, due out May 16. When a subject is given a long interview, he'll look through the archives of the journalists who conducted it, hoping to find notes or tapes with previously unpublished anecdotes. He did not find a recording of Haley's interview with King in the Haley archives at Duke, but he did find what appears to be an unedited transcript of the full interview, likely typed by a secretary straight from a recording, Eek said. Eek provided the Post with a copy of the transcript. On page 60 to 84, Haley asked, Dr. King, would you care to comment upon the articulate former black Muslim Malcolm X? King responds, I have met Malcolm X, but circumstances didn't enable me to talk with him for more than a minute. I totally disagree with many of his political and philosophical views, as I understand them. He is very articulate, as you say. I don't want to seem to sound as if feel so self-righteous or absolutist that I think I have the only truth, the only way. Maybe he does have some of the answer. But I know that I have so often felt that I wish that he would talk less of violence, because I don't think that the violence can solve our problem. And in his litany of expressing the despair of the Negro without offering a positive, creative approach, I think he falls into a rut sometimes. That's crazy that, like, this other dude just took that and was like, yeah, he hates him. He hates him, like, a lot. That is not how King's response appeared in the published interview. While the top part is nearly identical with the transcript, it ended in Playboy like this. And in his litany of articulating the despair of the Negro without offering any positive creative alternative, I feel that Malcolm has done himself and our people a great disservice. Fiery, demagogic oratory in the black ghettos, urging Negroes to arm themselves and prepare to engage in violence, as he has done, can reap nothing but grief. Oh my God, he got clip-chimped. But, like, not even clip-chimped. Because, like, they just made it up. They clipped it, and then they made up the rest of it. They just added a totally different energy to it. Anyway. We got the Britain thing. House GOP says they have evidence that Biden's family received millions from foreign entities. Let's take a look.
The Biden family received millions of dollars in payments from foreign entities in China and Romania. The Republican chairman of the House.
Oh my God, Romania, Andrew Tate. Get him, boys. Andrew Tate, number one donor to the Biden crime family.
Oversight Committee, James Comer, releasing some of these details just moments ago. CNN's Sarah Murray is gathering all of this for us. She's joining us right now. So Sarah, lay this out for us. What exactly is Comer alleging was done here, and how closely involved is Joe Biden?
Well, Kate, Republicans on House Oversight are out with this new memo today. And as you mentioned, Comer just did a press conference essentially saying that there are members of the Biden family who received payments from entities linked to Romania, linked to China, and that some of these payments took place while Joe Biden was the vice president. And of course, James Comer is using this to try to further his argument that he's trying to make that there are members of the Biden family who enriched themselves on the family name, and that somehow the current president was involved, even though he hasn't offered proof of that. But take a listen to what Comer...
The Biden crime family. Fucking get him, dude. Get his ass. Get his ass, James.
said in his press conference just this morning.
Be clear. This committee is investigating President Biden and his family's shady business deals that capitalize on Joe Biden's public office and risked our country's national security. The president, when confronted with this information, said it wasn't true. Instead of being honest with the American people, President Biden has claimed since the 2020 election that his family has not received money from China. That was a lie in 2020, and he continues to lie to the American people now. The Bidens have received millions of dollars from China. It is inconceivable that the president did not know it.
Now, look, Kate, this certainly raises questions about Hunter Biden's business activities while his dad was vice president, but they don't make allegations in this report that any of these payments are illegal. They also don't show any payments that are directly linked to Joe Biden, despite the allegations we've seen from Comer. And the White House, even before this Comer press conference, was slamming it, saying that he has a history of playing it fast and loose with the facts and spreading baseless innuendo, Kate.
All right. The context that you have right there, though, is important. The detail coming out, that will continue. What this means for Hunter Biden may be something very different than what it means for Joe Biden, especially in terms of that right now there is no suggestion of that anything illegal was actually done. It's good to see you, Sarah. Thank you so much for bringing that reporting to us. Always appreciate it.
Now, the latest on the efforts to prevent...
I don't care about the debt ceiling. I'm pushing that.
There are more podcasts on YouTube than there are stars in the night sky. Everyone has been convinced that they're a unique, special little butterfly and that their insight is invaluable. And now that there's so much easy access to recording equipment, everyone gets this insidious little idea planted deep in their noodle that it's time to start a podcast.
It's always a bad idea. The blanket is so cute. Are you going to be doing any IRLs? Yes, I plan to. However, not at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break. Didn't Biden sexually abuse his daughter? No. Where did conservatives get that from? No, I don't think that's the case, man. As soon as I click on a Charlie video, everyone's like, here, watch this video instead. Here, watch this video instead. I like Insecure podcasts. I'm not going to watch all of the Charlie videos on this list, but I like the Insecure podcast one. Because I think podcasters are insecure. Anyway, don't be insecure at the top of the hour, though. As long as you're subscribed, you will no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
And my God, I tell you, it's a plague. It's a disease, a virus that's infecting the mind of the most insecure and insufferable people of all time. For some reason, once that AT 2020 touches their hand, they just scream their insecurity from the mountaintop with authority, proudly. And it blows my mind. But I've never seen insecurity projected quite like what I'm about to show you today. So I am still shocked that he hasn't scrubbed this podcast episode from the entire cyberspace, just wiped it from the internet. Like, if this was a clip of mine, I would have paid every penny I have to my name in order to ensure this never sees the light of day again, that this clip stays buried.
What's the Zelda thing tomorrow with Tubbo?
Like the fucking Millennium Puzzle from Yu-Gi-Oh! It is that embarrassing. Like, you couldn't lock me up in Guantanamo Bay and torture this clip out of me, and yet he still has it on his channel. So the podcast is like a bootleg Fresh and Fit, where they just get a bunch of women together and ask them stupid questions and then rate each other's beauty. And then he gets really offended, like visibly upset, and I really thought he was going to start bawling his eyes out, crying in the fetal position. And I've watched a couple of their episodes now because I was curious if this was like an isolated thing, but no, this is pretty common. This is like a staple in their show from what I can tell, where they just have this section where they ask the women that they bring on to rate their beauty, the rate the podcast host's beauty.
Listen, ladies, we're rating just off physical appearance, just off beauty, okay? Same standards. Trust me, we're not going to get hurt, okay?
That's the biggest lie ever told since the time Kellogg's tried to convince the world that sugar doesn't make you fat. So, the segment is rate our appearance, basically, which is some actual middle school, literal baby brain man-child behavior shit. That is insecurity at its finest, to have the women you bring on as guests rate your appearance. That's so stupid. I'm surprised they don't also play Spin the Bottle and Truth or Dare. And maybe they do. I've only watched a couple of their episodes, but he says that they're not going to get offended with the ratings. Well, do I have news for you?
All right, cool.
Stop being delusional. What the fuck?
All right, so now what I want you to do is, ladies, real quick, don't fucking waste my time. Rate the guys. Do me a favor, Josh. Stand up real quick, man. Everybody look at him once, man. He's not going to stand up again, all right? So I want you to rate me, my co-host, and then our fucking producer. Go, from 1 to 10. Just off beauty. Go.
When he does these sections, it really seems like he's some kind of basketball coach who's really upset at the team. Like, he gets very aggressive with all of it. Like, don't waste my fucking time. Listen, we're going to do the drill right now. We're going to do it right. So stand the fuck up, Josh. Look at him. Now spin around, Josh. Okay, good. Drop your pants, Josh. Good. Now rate everything you just saw. Now, don't waste my time. Like, I don't know why he gets, like, so upset even before they hear ratings. Like, he immediately goes into these sections combative. And I watched the whole episode up until this point. Like, he's pretty blunt and like very much so most of the time. But when it gets to this one in particular, he's like angry. Like, even before anything happens, he's already angry.
Speak into the fucking mic.
I would rate you.
First, you're rating me, and then him, and then him. Go.
I'll rate you a 7.
All right. What is he?
I'll rate you an 8,
All right.
and I'll rate Josh an 8 also.
Okay. What about you? Go.
I would rate you a 8.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
Cap.
Come on, he just fucking stood up, bro. Like, come on.
I don't even know what he's getting upset with here. She only took like an extra 2 seconds to take another look at the guy. It's like he just lost a gold split in a speed run to this extra 2-second time loss. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why he's so on edge. It seems like he just really hates the guests that they bring on. Because when he's talking to his boys, he's like much more jovial and joking and smiley. But the second the conversation shifts to the rest of the class here, like the group of women over there, he turns into like a drill sergeant and starts getting extremely serious and loud. So I don't know why they even bring on women to this podcast when they don't even really want them there. And I also don't know why women keep agreeing to go on shows like these, because half the time it's them just like saying, you're not good looking and shit like that. Like, right after this rating section of rating the podcast hosts go through and rate all the women. And they literally give them 2s, 3s, and 4s. And make sure that they know that the hosts don't find them attractive. So I don't really get why women keep signing up for this shit just to get insulted by podcast hosts, and they don't say anything or do anything. Like, the women will insult each other sometimes. Like, they don't ever push back against the hosts at all, so then they just walk away looking silly from all of it. Like, all of it is just a net loss for the women that go on these shows. I don't know why they keep doing it.
I would say 9.
All right. What about you over there? Go.
2.
Okay.
I would give him a 9.
Okay. What is she over there?
I would give him a 10 because he
Okay.
invited me.
All right. So again, you sound like a stupid ass bitch. I'm trying to
Thank
figure
you.
out why you rated me a 2 because we're not going off our interactions. We're going off beauty.
I don't
right?
like life.
I don't give a fuck. He's light skinned just like me. And you just gave him a 9. You gave me a 2. You only gave me a 2 because of the whole interaction that we've been having, right? So do me a favor, get the fuck up and get the fuck out.
Thank you.
Yeah, get out.
Spoken like a man whose feelings weren't hurt at all and wasn't offended by the 2 rating. So he tries to justify it with, you only rated me a 2 because we had a disagreement earlier, which I guess they did, but even still, this is an extreme overreaction to getting rated a 2. The insecurity is palpable. You can fucking taste the salt here.
So what the fuck?
Stupid ass bitch. Make sure she gets her bag and phone too. Make sure she doesn't take the wrong fucking phone. Dummy. All right, cool. So now, again.
You can actually hear that lump in his throat start to form from all the emotion building up inside of him. Get out of here, stupid bitch. Hey, make sure she grabs the right phone and not someone else's phone because she's so dumb she probably won't know which one's her phone. Dumb idiot. She's real stupid. You're stupid. I'm a 2. No, you're a 2. Unsurprisingly, this turned their own community against them for the episode. A lot of the chat messages pop up on screen, so you're just seeing things popping up saying like, damn, just because she gave you a 2, what the fuck? Or something like this where it's like, thought you wanted your show to last. Like come on, man. It's because it's ridiculous. It's a very clear temper tantrum over getting a 2. If you were someone that was actually getting...
Yeah. They should get mad and say those exact same things to the women for principles that their fan base also agrees upon. Like, saying that women should be able to hold a job or owning Myron in a debate. Only then can you have the Fresh and Fit audience react positively to your insecurity. Even though Myron also does the exact same shit. I've seen clips of the Bald and Fat podcast where both of them go fucking yell at the ladies that they have on for identical reasons.
Pussy, if you were really slamming ham and glazing donuts, you wouldn't care if one girl didn't find you attractive or rejected you. You wouldn't care. You would laugh it off like a normal person. So one girl gives you a 2 and it shatters your whole ego and you publicly melt down about it? That's such a bad and embarrassing look. And he tries to justify it, like I said, by saying, she only gave me that 2 because of our negative interaction from moments ago. Just pure huffing of copium.
We're just going off physical beauty, okay? Not what we've been talking about, not my fucking arguments, not on none of that, okay? I want you to rate me, him, and then him. Go.
It's just funny because he's so ugly. Like, dog, you are a 2. You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck are you so mad? Like, don't ask that question. If you're a 2, don't ask a question where the answer might be, hey, you're a 2. Avoid the question at all costs. Yeah, man, you're ugly, bro. You're ugly, and your personality doesn't help. I'll be honest. It hurts.
Can you stand up for a second?
You didn't see me before the show?
Yeah, but I just forgot.
I mean,
Just stand. It's not that hard. Okay. You're an 8.
God damn it, bro. Go ahead, rate him.
Podcast is now turned into like a hostage situation here. All the women seem on edge, and I actually just can't believe they didn't leave after that. Like, again, I don't understand why women keep signing up for this shit. Like,
bro, he looks like every Private Ramirez I've ever seen, okay? Like, dude, you literally look like you're just finishing basic training. Like, there are thousands of you out there in the American military, and unlike you, they at least have a Camaro and will get like decent loans to own a home. You know what I mean? 0% interest loans. So what the fuck? And if these ladies date those guys, if Private Ramirez goes overseas, then they can fuck whoever the fuck they want. You got nothing. You ain't got a Camaro. You got a shitty ass podcast. You got nothing, dog.
No one seems to be having any fun there. The hosts especially don't seem to be having any fun. This guy's co-host seems miserable, but he does liven up a little bit when he gets to rate the other women and gives them like 3s, 4s, and 5s and all that. But it's just so awkward and weird. The only explanation that I can come up with, the only rational way of explaining this, is that the reason women are signing up for this show or shows like it is because they're being paid for their time. So it's like an hourly wage just to go there and be insulted.
Still hating on the country that made you successful? Yeah, I'm in England now, dog. It's different. I'm gonna hate on America all I want from out here, dude. England is my city, bitch. England is my motherfucking city, bitch. England made me. Suck my dick. I know it looks like I got the Mexico filter on, but I'm in England. You're a traitor. Mud? What? Bro, if you're gonna be racist better. Like, you're confusing everybody. What? I'm falling asleep. I literally fell asleep a little bit. I gotta end it. I gotta end the broadcast. I just fell asleep a little bit.
They're bouncing stupid questions.
I'm gonna finish this and I'm gonna go to bed.
Questions off of. That's the only thing that almost makes sense. Like, so they just come on here to play a game of grade my friend's appearance for 2.5 hours or whatever. I mean,
that dude's take was so stupid. It literally, it caused my brain to shut off, dude.
Really, someone summed up the situation really nicely in the comments. They said, podcast is called Unfiltered, yet kicks a girl out for her opinion. And that is just such a nice, concise way of breaking it down and the silliness of all of it. Again, I watched a couple episodes just to try and get like an understanding of the content. It just, there's nothing there. Everyone seems miserable most of the time, or they bounce the dumbest questions around. They always just do a grade our appearance thing.
Can we meet? I live in Manchester. No. Especially because Manchester is so fucking far.
Which, who wants to listen or watch that? Like, I as a viewer, let's say that I was a huge fan of this podcast. Why would I want to keep seeing what women say about my podcast hosts? Like, why would...
I don't think Charlie understands how fucking desperate these motherfuckers are out there on the planet. Like, these dudes are just sad, dude. They're fucking pathetic. They are sad, pathetic losers. That's why. It's that simple. They're sad, pathetic losers. That's why they watch other sad, pathetic losers. Can we meet? I'm in Amsterdam.
Why would I care? There's nothing there. There's no entertainment there. Especially when one of them's super insecure about all of it, who's going to freak out if he doesn't get a 9. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it.
Oh, here, I wanted to show you. This guy's
Eat
crazy.
this little Chinese. I am going to eat this little Chinese boy. I cannot get it up for this guy. I have a very sleazy and oily Mexican because he impregnated his wife. Sexy Asian girls are just lining up to have me dripping wet for this tight, white Italian. And this kid needs to get laid. Gorgeous Russian girls are just lining up for I am going to eat this little Chinese boy.
This guy is so crazy, dude.
Cannot get it up.
But also, like, it's weird because, like, he says the most threatening things, but, like, maybe I'm misreading the situation, but he has, like, a weirdly non-threatening aura. I've never seen somebody, I've seen a lot of his videos, and he says such unhinged shit. Think about it. Like, anyone else that says unhinged shit of that degree are not going to, they're going to come across like they need to go to jail immediately.
By pasty white guys. Get turned on by pasty white guys. Oh, and he smells good. Look at this. Mazzoni buttons, a narrow peak lapel. ... hand, needle, and thread pick stitching everywhere. Barchetta breast pocket with the curve and kick. There's the peak of my pocket square. He is stacked in my signature details. I love patch pockets because I get to shove my hands inside men. Gift wrapping extraordinaire. Look at this gift wrap in my 4D fit. I love opening up pasty white guys. Check out this minimalistic interior. Only lining in the yoke and the sleeves. Otherwise, you can see through the jacket. What I love about waistcoats and their shiny backs is I get to feel up here and feel up down here. Young pasty boy, are you happy?
Yeah, so good.
Thank you. Get turned on by pasty.
He's so crazy. Y'all ever see it take so bad you were forced to immediately go to sleep? Yeah, I did do that. I did that earlier. It happened to me.
Oh shit, fuck.
What? Why did you just send this to me? No. Zanna Marin is single and ready to mingle. Very nice. Yo, can we meet? I'm in Ohio. Yo, stop. Stop writing this dumb shit in the chat. Florida fucked up. Yeah, I saw this. I don't know what the credibility of this is. But it seems like a lot of the agricultural business and the construction business in Florida has like no more undocumented immigrants working on the job sites.
Ni alma se mira, mira. A esta hora, 9:30 de la mañana, esto estuviera lleno de gente, de muchos trabajadores latinos, inmigrantes, y no hay nada, señores.
No hay trabajadores. Venimos a checar a Miami, a ver si es cierto y es verdad, mira. No hay trabajadores, todo vacío.
Ahora cuénteme, miren, los que quedan están sentados. Porque mira cómo está el trabajo ahí, miren. Y los que quedan están sentados. Esos son los que tienen papeles. Los que quedan. Nunca había visto yo a una gente sentada ahí.
En Del Rey, Florida. Miren, no están los estoqueros, los que conducen las máquinas. Todo se mira desolado. Nadie quiere trabajar. Todo está parado en Florida.
Van a cerrar este trabajo por falta de personal, no lo pueden continuar.
There's like less than 20 people working today. Usually there's about 100. And it's really interesting. I'm wondering how they're going to get this project done without undocumented workers.
El trabajo hay. Pero la mano de obra se fue. Es lunes, 10:15 de la mañana. Esta tienda solía estar llena de gente comprando, sobre todo este tipo de material. Y miren, como pueden ver, ahí está completo. Entonces, lo que voy a hacer es trabajar solo. Miren, nomás yo estoy aquí.
Nadie sabe lo que tiene hasta que lo ve perdido. Miren, para que vean, ve.
I just don't know how valid this is because it's on TikTok. And you know what they always say, or what I always say. Don't believe anything you see on TikTok. Because everything on TikTok is a lie.
Damn, this guy's good.